Hello everyone, my name is Vanessa and welcome to the second episode of the STEM in Style series. I'm here with Wendy.
Hi. Hello everyone.
Hey,
I'm
guys.
Wendy.
And I'm so excited to talk to Wendy today. She is an aerospace engineer and she works where?
NASA Ames Research Center.
NASA? That NASA? Hidden Figures, guys? That one?
Yeah.
All right, we hopefully have great content for you today, and I'm excited to talk to you about your background. I met Wendy at the Google Women's Tech Makers Conference about 3 weeks ago.
Yes.
And I saw her name badge, and I was like, "Are you Nigerian?
Yes.
Be my friend."
And we hit it off. We actually did hit it off. Vanessa's cool.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. She's cooler.
Yes.
She works at NASA. So let's get started. Tell us what you do.
So I am a research engineer in the Intelligent Systems Division at NASA Ames Research Center. My team is the Diagnostics and Prognostics team, and we work in the science of failure. So basically figuring out when something bad will happen to a component, a system of systems. So it could be an aircraft, a spacecraft, your car battery. So failure prediction, fault mitigation, and things of that sort. And I have a controls background as an aerospace engineer. So I work on making things do what I want them to do.
How about, does that work on people?
Yeah, I
wish. Tell us a little bit about your academic background.
So I attended the University of Texas at Arlington for undergrad and grad. So my undergrad was in aerospace engineering, and I finished in 2010 and started the same year for my PhD in aerospace engineering as well, which I graduated with in 2015. So UTA, I'm a Texas girl at heart.
Well, how are you loving California so far?
I really like it. There's so much to do. There's so much to see. You meet people like this. You go to like Google International Women's Day Tech Makers Conference and you meet amazing people doing powerful, like awesome things in here.
Awesome. And tell us a little bit about your background, where you're from before you started school.
So I'm Nigerian, and I went to high school in Nigeria. I went to Queen's College, Yaba, Lagos. Finished high school, moved over to the States, moved to Texas for college.
So how do you feel like your background, having an international background, I'm sure compared to a very different background compared to your peers, how do you feel like that influences how you approach your STEM projects?
You have no choice. You got to keep going, right? So your parents, my parents told me I was going to be an engineer. I didn't even really know what that was.
What?
Yeah. They're like, I was so young. And
my dad told me to play tennis.
No way. They're like, oh,
my dad's still mad I don't play tennis.
Really?
Yeah.
Your dad's cool. They tell their kids, like my oldest sister, they're like, oh, you're going to be a doctor. It came to me, I was going to be an engineer, and I just knew I was going to be an engineer, and I didn't really know what that involved. In fact, in the third grade on career day, I tell everyone this story because this is, it's crazy. I was, in elementary school, career day, basically tell the class where you're going to be, and I don't know if we had to dress up, but you basically just say what you're going to be when you grow up. And I was in primary 3, so I was about 6, 7, I don't know. And it got to my turn, everyone's saying what they're going to be. It got to my turn, I'm like, yeah, I'm going to be an engineer. Silence. No one said a word. I was on my grind. I thought, but no. And my teacher was like, you're going to be an engineer? You're going to fix ceiling fans?
What?
That's what you're going to do. You're a girl. I was so heartbroken.
Aww.
I was so heartbroken because she laughed and the class laughed at me. This is a real story. I was so heartbroken. I went home and I told my mom, I was like, I can't be an
Well, it's a good thing your parents basically reversed the
goodness,
terrible.
My mom was so mad. She was like, "Who said this?" I was like, "I don't want to fix it."
That's a terrible teacher.
Who said that? I was like, my teacher. She was like, she doesn't know what she's talking about. She doesn't know anything. But I was really, really, really hurt by it because who wants to be laughed at?
Yeah, exactly.
And so my mom was basically able to reaffirm, like how cool
girls can be engineers, and engineering is cool.
Do really cool things,
That's awesome.
Like build and design plane craft and spacecraft and planes and things that you see fly in the air, like giant metal birds in the sky. Like, okay,
kudos
cool.
to your parents.
Yeah, they're pretty awesome. My family is super supportive, so encouraging, and they're so supportive, and they have my heart.
That's important.
Yeah.
What steps did you take in undergrad that you feel prepared you for success in graduate school?
So in undergrad, I would say for sure, I recommend everyone do at least one internship. Because that really helps you. So it's a good experience. You put yourself out there. You're getting to actually, work with people in your field that have gone through what you've gone through, and you're getting to apply what you're learning in class. So definitely do it, right? Some people, it's astounding to me, but I hear that engineers, people in STEM go through entire 4-year careers without doing an internship. And
that's very rare.
It's so rare. How do you,
yeah.
I can't wrap my head around that. So definitely do it, because it will also tell you what you don't like.
I wish I did an industry internship. I'm in industry now, but I did only research internships.
Right. So it'll tell you what you don't like. And then second part, which you said, is do research. So I did 2 industry internships. I worked with Lockheed Martin in Houston on the Orion spacecraft, which is a NASA spacecraft. Yeah, a replacement for Apollo that's supposed to take man to low Earth orbit and beyond. So I worked in requirements, and then I worked with the mechanical team and hatch mechanisms and design, and it was pretty cool. And then I did an undergrad research internship, and I like in a proper traditional research lab. Yeah, in a research lab, and that was just awesome. And I can, I don't know if that's going to segue into how I got into my PhD, but I would definitely recommend doing internships and doing research, because you kind of see the difference really between the two. And then eat breakfast every day. Breakfast is everything. Breakfast for champions, or whatever. Breakfast. My dad always said it's the most important meal of the day, but I never took that lesson to heart. That's true. Yeah. Are there things you wish you prepared for before you got into the PhD program? Or things I wish that I knew. Or maybe things I wish I knew. So getting into the PhD program, or you get into a PhD program, you're happy, you're excited, you tell the world, oh my God, I'm going to do a PhD. Oh, yes. And then you find out that you have to take quals. Oh my God, quals. You have to take quals. You have to take at Caltech, people fail out of quals. You can fail out of quals and be kicked out of a PhD program. You don't know this getting in. No one tells you that. You get in, and then a year, and you have to take qualifying exams, which vary by institution, but it could be... I just got goosebumps from the word quals. Quals are tough. Quals are tough. You have to... Sometimes you might get tested on things that you did in undergrad that you kind of scaled through without really learning. You just got an A. You got an A, you're fine. And you have to go back and relearn that stuff. And when you take quals in the same university that you did your undergrad, everyone expects you to pass. Right on. Like, everyone expects you to ace it. So quals are such... It's not only, it's also, it's mental, it's physical, it's emotional, it's a trial. It's so draining. It's so draining. How can you say you're doing a PhD in aerospace engineering and you don't know basic fluid dynamics, concepts? But that's not your forte. That's not your field. You're doing something else. But you get tested on a diverse array of subjects. It's not just what you're doing your research in. So I should have a different segment just for quals. Yes, like we can keep going on and on for quals. Yes. Oh my goodness, quals are tough. So how did you, before getting to the PhD, how did you decide that research was for you? Like, how did you decide you were going to go into a PhD? Yes. So, my last year in undergrad, in one of my favorite courses, which was controls, one of my favorite courses, one of my favorite professors, he opened up this opportunity to the class. He's like, I'm looking for a student, American citizen, that will accompany me to the Air Force Research Lab to work on this research project in aircraft formation flight. So the AFR, the Air Force Research Lab, was in Wright-Patterson, Dayton, Ohio, and this was, I believe, fall 2009 or spring 2010, I don't remember what it was, but I really liked the material. This was a controls class, and I really liked the professor. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to do it. I want to do it. I'm thinking everyone's going to be applying for this. I have to put my best foot forward. And he was a good professor. We had a good connection, a good vibe. So I went up to him, told him I wanted to do this. He was like, yeah, sure. So I applied for it. I got the opportunity, and I got a Dean's undergraduate research assistantship from the university as well. The University of Texas at Arlington was so supportive and so instrumental in my success, in my undergraduate and graduate success. And so was my professor. So I got that opportunity, accompanied him to the Air Force Research Lab in summer 2010 in Ohio, and started the project. And I was so excited. It was just, such a wonderful, exciting opportunity, getting to talk with actual researchers at the AFRO that were developing, designing, and speaking things that I didn't understand. I was like, oh, I want to learn it all. That's awesome. I was like, I want to learn it all. And then my university had just opened the BS to PhD program, the math grad program, and we're offering an enhanced graduate teaching assistantship where I basically get paid to go to school. Who can turn that down,
yeah, no,
right? Why would you, they offered me such a good deal, and that's
awesome.
You know, it was monumental. I was like, yeah, I'm doing this.
Okay. So I know this is difficult for, every PhD I've talked to, but can you give us a very quick synopsis of what you did for your PhD?
Yes. So if I start saying some words that you did,
no, I will also include, a blog post that sort of explains what you're talking about.
Okay. So let me try to explain it. So when you think about birds, when you see birds flying long migratory distances and they're flying in a V formation, extended or staggered V formations, they do that because the trailing birds don't require as much energy to fly because the leading birds are generating upwash. There's this non-uniform wind field distribution that's generated by the wingtips of the preceding birds. So the follower birds can fly without doing as much. And birds are really smart. Nature is optimal. They rotate around, right? Well, let's not put too much work in
Yeah, I know. Not one person doing the work all the time.
Work, we're just coasting, And so they switch around.
Like real life.
By
the way.
And so if you take that same concept and apply it to planes, it works. Right, so you can have planes flying in significantly extended formations. And the military was interested in this, because we have all these gas jet guzzling aircraft.
They carry really heavy stuff.
Carrying really heavy things. And so we want to be able to be optimal with the way we fly our aircraft. And this is even transferable to the commercial aviation industry. If people are willing to, because people hear formation flying, they think, tight-knit, close, like fighter jet, but it's not even that. It's like significantly extended formation. So the trailing aircraft can take advantage of the upwash that's generated by the leading aircraft and save fuel.
How far a distance are we talking about here?
So a bunch of the simulations I ran, 5 wingspans of like the lead aircraft. And so a KC-135 40-meter wingspan, we're talking even up to 200 meters behind, and you're still able to get significant fuel savings. But when you fly in that location, when the trail aircraft is flying in that strategic, what we call the sweet spot, it is subjected to induced aerodynamic moments from the lead. And what that basically is it's like torques. It's having to like change its orientation. And when you change your orientation like that, you have to deflect your control surfaces to trim the aircraft and cancel out those torques. Your control surfaces, if you're sitting on a plane and you look out the window.
Oh, those little flaps that come up on the wing.
Move up and down. Yeah. Those are actually used to control the plane. Who would have thought, right? Because the friend was like, why don't they control those things? I'm like, they actually are controlling those things. And so, but when you deflect them, you induce additional drag on the plane. And the whole idea of formation flight was to reduce the drag on the trailing aircraft.
So you don't want to combine the drag from
deflecting
the
surfaces. You don't want
if you're trying to
minimize drag in the first place. You don't want to
maximize your efficiency.
And maximize efficiency, you don't want to be doing that. So my specific contribution to this body was in looking at alternative mechanisms to trim, such as moving mass actuation. So if you could move fuel from the inside of an aircraft to another, like move fuel, then you can generate moments or use differential thrust. So you want to be able to trim and change the orientation of the plane.
Okay. So rather than using the external deflectors, you're actually moving your center of gravity.
Yeah, changing the center of gravity or changing the things you have to do in a more optimal fashion.
Okay.
Yeah, that was basically my PhD.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. So that sounds really daunting and sounds like a lot of work, but it sounds really cool.
Fun.
So was it a lot of modeling, and did you have to did you have a flying chamber and you had to fly things as well? So it was all just modeling?
It was a lot of modeling simulation supplemented with like flight testing. So we
flight test. I said chamber.
Yeah, no, we get some better flight data. They could carry out some tests, do something, and we'd be able to supplement our simulations with our more accurate, more realistic data. And it was mostly modeling and simulation. I lived, dreamed
MATLAB.
I was like, thinking about how, writing. I was writing like code in my sleep to like if I parse this, if I move this here, if I write this loop.
That's awesome.
And I'd wake up and like, oh yeah, that's what I needed to do so I could. You're just working. And that's the thing with research and your PhD, your work stays with you.
It does.
Go to work and go home.
No. Drink and sleep your work.
Drink and sleep.
It
you're
never
working.
stops.
You're watching TV and you're working. So yeah.
Do you still use MATLAB?
I do. A lot.
Every engineer learn MATLAB and Python.
Yes.
My last video, she said Python, but let's add MATLAB to the list.
Yes, definitely. Learn MATLAB and Python for sure, and C or whatever you want to learn. But you have to be conversant with some programming software.
Okay. What do you feel was the most challenging point of your PhD?
There were 2.
Okay.
Quals.
Quals, where we already talked about that.
Yes, quals, and my last semester of my PhD. So the last year of my PhD.
Really?
Yes.
That's rare.
Yeah.
It's usually at the end, you're just sailing out.
I was working.
Ooh, okay.
I was working full time, and I think at some point my advisor.
And you were trying to write your thesis.
Yeah, so I was trying to write my thesis, and I was working at Lockheed, their advanced development program, Skunkworks, on
Skunkworks.
Yeah, Skunkworks. I worked
all the
at
nerds
Skunkworks,
know what
right?
that is.
I know, right? So I worked at Skunkworks for the.
Do you have the T-shirt?
I don't, but I think I have a polo.
They're like collectibles.
Yeah. Someone owes me a Skunkworks polo.
You need a Skunkworks polo.
But those are the guys that developed or created the SR-71 Blackbird. Like the CIA is like, hey, we need a plane that can go coast to coast and not be shut down. Blah, blah. And this plane could fly coast to coast in under 2 hours. We'll live in the Bay. How long does it take us to get to the East Coast? Exactly. So the technology
traffic
exists.
to the airport too.
I know, right? Yeah. So the technology exists to help us do these things, but it was, it's a really
coast
cool
to coast in 2 hours.
Coast to coast in under 2 hours.
That is amazing.
So, but my last semester, my last year I was very busy. I had so much going on, and I wasn't even eating right. I wasn't taking care of myself. When you're so busy that you
breakfast.
I was skipping breakfast. I started skipping breakfast. No, but it was tough. Yeah, because I was just so busy. I'm just in the lab working. I'm like, I'll get to eat, and then it just didn't happen. But it was very busy. It was The PhD was one of the best experiences of my life that I will never repeat.
Okay. No. All right. So, going through all this trials and tribulations, what do you feel like was your most rewarding accomplishment the whole way through?
Oh, all my fellowships, I would say. So, I am an NDSCG fellow.
So, you were just like...
Yes. The money was good.
Fellowships are money for graduate school research.
Yeah. So, but they're also a recognition that your work and your research is
valuable.
It's valuable. You are valuable. Your work is valuable, right? So the NDSCG, the National Defense Science and Engineering Graduate Fellowship, is given to about 200 PhDs in the United States each year. I got it, and that pays tuition. You get a stipend and health insurance and everything. You basically, live in lavish, right?
Yeah, for grad students, a lot of money.
But it's so rewarding. And then I got the Amelia Earhart Fellowship too from Zonta International. Please look up Zonta International if you don't. They are a global service advocacy organization for women, literally really global, doing amazing things around the world. Around the world. They have chapters in Nigeria and Liberia and Australia, New Zealand, here in the Bay.
I will look that up.
Yeah. So, and they give Amelia Earhart was a member of Zonta International. I believe that was the only non-aerospace organization she was affiliated with. And they give the Amelia Earhart Fellowship to 35 women around the world each year pursuing PhDs in aerospace engineering. And again, when I got that, for me, it was like, okay, this is useful work. This is something people care about, and people care about what you're doing with it. So it was very rewarding to get those external,
validation.
That validation of the work that you're just spending all this time in your lab doing.
Yeah.
You don't really know who cares.
Right.
Who cares? Nobody cares. Work harder. So but that was very, very rewarding, and those things would always spur me. The TSGC, Texas Space Grant Consortium Fellowship, there were a bunch of fellowships that I got, and each time I was like, okay, this is good, keep going, do better, keep going.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Thank you.
You have a very illustrious career so far, and it's just starting. It's amazing. I can't wait to see you take flight. Was that a pun?
I see what you did there. But it's not rocket science. Actually, it is.
It is. You are actually a rocket scientist. It's awesome. I love it. So, do you feel like you've met, difficult people, on your path?
Oh yeah, every time.
Was it more so in grad school? Or
grad school, not as much. Undergrad, some, yeah.
It was out in the real world.
Yeah, and there's some out in the real world too, because it's like a triple, African American woman of color. So I'm Black, I'm female, and I'm relatively young, right? So it's like you walk in a room, and what are you doing here? They look at you like, what are you doing here? And you get those.
You're
questions.
The engineer.
Yeah, you're the engineer.
It's you.
I've gotten a question. Someone asked me to be at a meeting. I was like, what? And so I was like, let's talk in my office. When he came to my office, I set up all the certificates. I
showed him all the fellowships.
I set them all up so he could see that. But you get those, where you feel like you're having to prove yourself, or just stop it. Listen.
What's been your approach to,
I said
not letting it?
I really do. I have to have the, hey, before you come at me with that, just look at this. And then sometimes I will sign external emails with my official title,
Mm-hmm.
because the feedback you get, because you really just want positive feedback. I'm not even criticism, but you want it to be like a peer review,
right?
As opposed to talking down on the work.
Mm-hmm.
I need you to give me that good peer review on the work. If you see that, oh, this is Dr. Okola speaking.
Okay.
You know, so sometimes I'll sign with my signature, and I tell this to my friends too. Like, you know, we don't want to put ourselves out there.
Yeah, I know.
I have a doctor, I have a PhD.
I should add PhD to my card.
Yeah, I have it there, you know, because sometimes the work that you do, or, you know, the feedback you get, you want that peer feedback, you want that peer review. You don't want it to be like someone thinks they're doing you a favor, like, oh, you know, you want it to be constructive, right?
Right. No, I totally understand what you're talking about.
So that's one approach, and then another approach is I have to learn everything. And that's so
no, you have to be on top of your.
Yeah, that's, you know,
you have to be on top of everything.
You want to be on top of everything,
right?
You want to know it all.
You want to know it all, so no one can catch you.
Catch you, right?
And like make you feel bad.
Syndrome,
yeah,
right? Like, I'm going to spend all this time learning it all. So I don't know how useful or constructive that is if you're focusing your energy on just, you know. But
it's a learning process.
I want to learn it all. I want to learn it all. In my spare time, I'll like put on a NASA like servo video thing for like learning new things and lecture notes and all these. So yeah,
okay,
that's
good. So I guess this feeds into my next question. You know, what have you realized about yourself, you know, in dealing with all these things that you're working on and your approach to getting better at?
Yeah, it's just I think I realized that I will spend a lot of time like making sure that I know it well enough. I will spend a lot of time trying to learn it.
Preparation.
Yeah, I will spend a lot of time prepping and making sure that it's that due diligence, right? And you also have to remind yourself that no one was a genius overnight, right?
Mm-hmm.
I had this T-shirt from the Honors College when I was an undergrad. It was an Einstein quote. I don't know if Einstein really said that, but it said, "It's not that I'm so smart."
He said a lot of things.
He said a lot of things, right?
Who knows?
So it's like, it's not that I'm so smart. It's just that I stay with problems longer. So I'll stay with the problem and stay with it and stay with it and stay with it until I really can't figure it out.
That is a good one. I've never heard that one
Yeah,
before.
it's like I stay with problems, and then he had the frizzy hair.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Crazy, yeah. But yeah, the due diligence, man. I think that's also how you battle imposter syndrome.
And I feel like that's something you can learn at a very young age.
Yeah.
You know, even from high school, due diligence, working hard on whatever project it is.
Exactly.
Growing, learning, picking up skills early on. So you just learn discipline, and it stays with you for a long time. Because, you know, you can't start learning discipline in your late 20s. It'll be too late. It's tough to learn. So what advice would you have given to your younger self? You know.
Okay. From an academic career perspective, learn what your peers are doing, right? So your lab mates, the other researchers, it's not just about your work and being the best at your work, but also know what they're doing, also know what they're about. That's how you can call on who, where to collaborate on something in the future. That's how you develop those well-rounded skills, right?
So don't just be focused on you.
Don't just be focused on you. Even maybe if you have some time assist, right? That's how you can even publish more, right? Publish. That one goes without saying. Like publish. You want to put out your work, you know, in grad school. But learn what other people are doing. Be familiar enough, be conversant enough, because you have other lab mates with you in grad school, right? You're doing a PhD. You're not the only student of your advisors. There are at least maybe 4 to 5 to 10 others of you. And it's interesting how we will go without knowing well enough what our other lab mates are doing. So don't just network up, right? Like, know what's
network sideways and up.
Right? Know what's going on, right? Network sideways, right? I met this girl 3 weeks ago, and look at this. I'm so happy. Vanessa is
awesome. I love that advice. Thank you so much. Like, I've had a great time getting to know you a little bit better with this.
Yes.
And I hope you guys learned something. Network sideways, network upwards.
Yes.
Eat breakfast. Prepare for quals. And start disciplining young.
Yes.
All right. Thank you for watching.
Thank you.
This was STEM in Style episode 2.